5'8" little peon. If we were in the streets, I would grab that little ginger and smack him upside the head and make him forget who the he was.
I'm going to keep it a full on buck with you guys. If you don't think Jake Paul is going to win, you know nothing. You know nothing. I am a casual. I've never been in a fight before, but I like sports and I like watching fighting. I'm telling you guys right now, Jake Paul wins this fight. It's very obvious.
The fighters and, actual fighters, some shine. It also has done for women's boxing a lot. So I'm not mad at him for what he's been in boxing, what he's created. This is a little crazy here. This is a little crazy. And a lot of people will say, Tank is too small.
Jake Paul has sent a chilling warning to Gervonta Tank Davis live on stream. He told the world that doubters are wrong because he's training harder than ever. Jake says he's confident, dangerous, and ready to prove Davis can't survive his power inside the ring.
He would potentially kill you if you got on the ring
He's
with him.
He's a 5'8" little peon. If we were in the streets, I would grab that little ginger and smack him upside the head and make him forget who the he was. People don't realize I'm a real killer. I really do this. YouTube this, YouTube that, Disney that. This is not a joke. I'm knocking out the best of the best, beating all of these people time in and time again. And it's about time that you old heads and all these boxers who think they know about the sport put some respect on my name.
Streamer Aden Ross is backing Jake Paul to shock the world. He says anyone doubting Jake simply doesn't understand boxing. Ross insists Jake isn't just a YouTuber anymore, he's improved fight after fight. And now he has the weapons to challenge even champions. For Ross, this fight is about Jake's rise, not Tank's legacy.
I'm going to be real with you guys. I'm going to be very surprised if Jake's not favorited on the sports betting on sports. Like all you guys saying, and all this. Do you guys understand that it's all about weight and shit? Like, all right, I'm going to keep it a full on buck with you guys. If you don't think Jake Paul is going to win, you know nothing. You know nothing. I am a casual. I've never been in a fight before, but I like sports and I like watching fighting. I'm telling you guys right now, Jake Paul wins this fight. It's very obvious, right? It's very, very, very obvious.
Analysts are calling out Gervonta Davis not for his boxing skills, but for his weak star power. Critics say Tank struggles to sell fights, while Jake Paul and his brother Logan turn everything into a global spectacle. They believe Jake is the reason this matchup is grabbing worldwide attention.
Tank is not the guy that knows how to sell a fight. Tank cannot sell a fight in his own division. You have the Paul brothers and they come over to boxing. Their idea from day one is we don't have the skills or the experience. What we're going to do is we'll take on the absolute best guys, but they're going to spot us some pound. Hank has one job to do, that it doesn't make any difference, that boxing is a real sport. My skills versus your skill, of which I am an abundance of and of which you have none of. Hank is telling anybody that will listen that there's a size problem. My skills and my experience in boxing, I do not have to wonder who's in the bar tonight. Any bar I go to, I rule the bar. No, it turns out that you don't. Just need some big guy to corner you. Apparently, boxing has never stood its ground. Boxing has never been able to explain why Floyd needed a half hour to get rid of a guy who's never boxed before. Hank Davis has already began this. When you choose a dum-dum, don't be surprised when he goes out and acts like a dum-dum.
Shaker Stevenson is furious. He says it's an insult to boxing that Tank picked Jake Paul instead of real killers in his division. Stevenson claims Tank could have fought him to prove who's the best, but instead went for what he calls a money grab. Hardcore fans agree it feels like Tank is chasing dollars, not greatness.
You got your eye on Tank. What do you think about the rumors of Tank and Jake fighting?
Man, Tank disrespectful to the sport if he choose that over fighting with me. I'm the best fighter in the sport. I've been telling him that. And he called cap on it. So if you're going to call cap and say I'm not who I say I am, come prove it.
Boxing expert Ada Ladipo thinks this fight is happening way too soon. He argues both Tank and Jake are still in their prime, unlike Floyd Mayweather and Logan Paul, who did it for fun after their peak. For Oladipo, this matchup is a waste of prime years. They both should be chasing legacy, not spectacle.
Whether you agree with it or not, Gervonta is considered the #1 lightweight in the world. And it's a division that includes Shakur Stevenson, a lot of young guns coming up. I'm not any more sure if it's going to include Keyshawn Davis, but it's a hot division. He's considered #1 in that division. Like, that's why I kind of find this a bit, I don't know. Like, there are challenges out there for Gervonta. There are big money fights out there for Gervonta. We want to see Gervonta in those fights. Again, I don't know how many fights people want to see AJ in, just to make the AJ Jake Paul comparison. One. as far as I'm concerned, that was Tyson Fury. I don't really have any interest in seeing in AJ in any other more fights. Whereas Gervonta Davis, I wanted and still do want to see him in so many more fights. So, yeah, it's kind of weird. These exhibition things are, like, really and truly, they should all be when your career's done. Like, when you think of Floyd versus Logan Paul, it's done, right? Floyd versus Conor. Did he have one more after? Or was that it? I can't even remember. But it was right at the end. It was done. Right at the end. Even if it wasn't, right at the end. These guys having these exhibition fights in between what is the peak of their career is kind of weird for me. Very, very weird. And then it isn't even comparable to Ngannou Fury, because at least these guys were the same size. Like, Jake Paul is a 215, 220 pound guy. I don't know what he walks around at. Gervonta fights at 135. Guessing he walks around about 155. Like, what? Like, Jake Paul, I've been around him. I'm 5'11". I'd say he's 6'1". Gervonta, I've been around him. I'd say he's 5'4", 5'5", max. You know, a lot of these guys wear those big heels.
Paulie Malignaggi exploded during a debate about this fight. He said knockouts only matter if they're against real competition . He slammed Tank for avoiding top names and compared this to the legends like Felix Trinidad and Mike Tyson, who fought the very best. For Paulie, Tank versus Jake is nothing more than a cash grab.
Look at Jake Paul's career.
You can manufacture that, though. You can manufacture that, though. You can manufacture.
You can't manufacture.
To a degree, you can. To a degree. I mean, you can, yeah, Gervonta legitimately cannot get knockouts. I agree. He can punch, but there's a lot of limited knockout artists, though, man.
He's one of the least active punchers in the game with the highest knockout percentage of current heavyweight.
But if he was a real knockout artist,
champions.
If he was a real knockout artist, prop him up against the best of the best. Felix Trinidad was a knockout artist. He was knocking out the best of the best. If you're a real knockout artist, prop him up against the best and show us how he smokes them. But the way we did when Felix Trinidad was doing it. You know, the way they did it when Mike Tyson was doing it in his prime. Say what you want about the Mike Tyson era. He knocked out everyone from 1986 to 1989. Everyone got knocked out. Everyone.
Well, by your standard, you could say that Tyson was, to a degree, manufactured.
No, because he fought everyone that was there. Everyone that was there at that time fought.
Teddy Ellis will 100% agree with this.
With the expense of Witherspoon.
That we're afraid of
with the exception of Witherspoon. No, but they all, doesn't matter. He knocked them all out. There was nobody you could say in that era except maybe Witherspoon, who I contract contract issues with King at the time. Oh, except for Witherspoon, there is nobody Tyson didn't fight in that era. He knocked them all out. You can't say like, oh, but if he would have fought that guy, I don't know. No, with Davis, there's guys right now that have been hanging around for years. Yo, dude, when you gonna fight them? The lightweight division was stacked with talent. Even at 130, it had a lot of talent when he was there. Didn't fight almost any of them. So it's not the same thing as the Tyson era. You want to say anything about Tyson era? Fine. It wasn't as high level or something. He still knocked out everyone. There was nobody there in that era that you can say Tyson didn't fight.
Didn't say it was related. It was the same as the Tyson era. Didn't say it at all. I was actually going to say the opposite when you talk about Trinidad. Trinidad is a bona fide superstar. And the way that he was, and like you said,
you stepped him up and he knocked out.
And he was a knockout punches. No, of course.
Analysts are split. Some say Jake Paul versus Tank Davis is not a real boxing contest, it's pure entertainment. But with Netflix backing the broadcast, it's guaranteed to be a global event. Many believe Tank will destroy Jake with his speed and skills, but fans will tune in anyway, because everyone loves an unpredictable clash.
I do. Like, I think he's tactfully, as I said, saying like, oh,
even if he's promoting it the other way. I've been very consistent on my Jake Paul thoughts. I will reiterate one more time. I would rather see this because it's a spectacle than him versus Ryan Borland or Andre August or chasing these like quote-unquote championship dreams in boxing. I don't think he's a championship level boxer. I don't really care about that journey. I want to see him in spectacles. Netflix is going to air Jake Paul versus Tank Davis. So to me, this is, you know.
You think it will do well?
It will be watched. It will be watched.
Yeah, it's going to be huge. A lot of people are going to watch.
I would rather see Anthony Joshua just because that has been put out there and is on the table. But I will watch this.
I saw some people breaking this down on, it was a non-fight pod. It was, I don't remember which one. And they were saying like, oh, Tank's going to kill him. Tank's going to kill him because he won't be able to touch Tank. And then
Stephen Fulton, however, defended Tank. He said people forget that boxers don't just fight for legacy, they fight for their families and their future. Fulton argued Tank has every right to take a fight like this because boxing careers are short. For him, the payday justifies the risk.
Anybody in that position would have taken that fight. Yeah. Especially with the payout. Yeah. It's like, that's a no-brainer. But I understand. I still feel for Lamont. That's my boy. Like, he still want his rematch. But then when you be realistic about the money situation, you're changing your whole family life. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's people hate on it because they're not in that position. I'm not saying Lamont. I'm speaking like other boxers. Be like, oh, he this for that. He's this. He's a side quest. It's a little side quest. Because what happened when Floyd and all these guys went on WWE, but then they get right back to what they doing? You know what I'm saying? So it's just like it's another little side quest. I'm all for people just getting their money. So get the best, make the most that you can out of this entertainment world. Because I mean, I don't know. I would have done it as far as the money aspect, because none of us would deny that money. They talking like they would. None of them would deny that money.
Eddie Chambers fired back at Jake Paul supporters, warning them not to underestimate Tank Davis. Yes, Jake has size, but Tank's power, speed, and timing are deadly. Chambers says unless Jake is an absolute monster, he won't survive Tank's pound-for-pound skill.
I think that something like this can happen, but this is social media. This is what is created. There's a lane that Jake Paul has created. Honestly, I'm not mad at him for it. He's gotten a lot of fighters and, actual fighters some shine. It also has done for women's boxing a lot. So I'm not mad at him for what he's been in boxing, what he's created. This is a little crazy. Yeah, this is a little crazy. And a lot of people will say, Tank is too small. Let me tell you something. Anybody that gets in the ring with Tank that is not a damn dinosaur is going to feel something from him. And it ain't going to be easy to hit him. Got boxing IQ. He may not sound like an intellectual guy when you never hear him talk, but he knows the ring inside and out. So there's nothing that Jake Paul can do aside from make it extremely ugly by grabbing him and probably trying to throw him to the ground. I don't know what else, bite him. I don't know, but I mean, the skill level alone. Now, of course, there is a size difference, a height difference, and all that, but he's just going to struggle so much landing a shot. It's just going to look bad to me. This is the way I see it. It's going to look bad. Tank is going to be too fast. And the punch, I believe, I'm not saying it's going to knock him out or, but he's going to feel.
Analysts predict Jake Paul versus Gervonta Davis could actually overshadow Canelo versus Crawford. Why? Because Jake isn't just a fighter, he's a superstar with mainstream pull. Hardcore fans may hate it, but the numbers don't lie. Jake brings an audience beyond boxing, making this fight a global headline grabber.
2 wins, 2 losses, 2 draws, 39 wins by way of knockout, who's a far bigger star in the sport of boxing than Gervonta Tank Davis. Now, Canelo's not a bigger global star than Jake Paul because Jake Paul is an entertainer outside the sport of boxing. That's why. So now you have people telling you that Jake Paul and Tank Davis is a circus fight, okay? It's a commercial circus fight on top of that. Jake Paul fights at cruiserweight and heavyweight, 200 plus pound, 200 minimum. Okay, his last fight against Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., former world champion, the son of a legend, he weighed in at 199 pounds. He fought Iron Mike Tyson at 224 pounds, okay? Tank Davis fights at 135 pounds. You have the storyline of David and Goliath that's going to push the entertainment part, okay? That's going to get people to draw interest in the fight. Why? Because you have the whole David and Goliath situation going on. So again, that attracts people. Okay? So it's a sideshow. But even the sideshow, yes, it's going to be on Netflix. Yes, it's going to be a big event on Netflix. But guess what? They are fighting at the State Farm Arena in Atlanta, Georgia. That holds max for concerts, 21,000 people. Canelo and Terrence Crawford, September 13th, this Saturday, Las Vegas, Nevada, at Allegiant Stadium, Las Vegas Raiders Stadium. They just added seats, and they're expecting 72,000 people in attendance.